just one wife, that you need the leadership skills of a general
Yes.
to lead an army of one woman.
So we have to take a lot of pain, a lot of effort to teach children how to get along with one another.
Your raw material is money,
Of course.
but it is not your money.
It is not
That
yours.
is the biggest challenge. So if you do not fear God, you will end up misappropriating this money and taking it to be your own. Yet it is just what you're using to do the work that you're doing.
So ego is very dangerous to me, and we should avoid the extremes.
This program exists to equip, challenge, and empower men to expand their family leadership capacity for national transformation. In the next few minutes, you are going to realize that when you stop learning, you stop leading and start dying. Let me repeat. In the next few minutes, you are going to realize that if you stop learning, you stop leading and start dying. Never, ever stop learning, because life never stops teaching. Welcome to the Inspired Family Leader program with Samuel A. Bakutana, your host. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are watching us from around the world. This program exists to equip, empower, inspire, and encourage men so that they can expand their family leadership capacity for national transformation. I am Samuel, the CEO of Inspired Leaders International, which is an international leadership development firm that empowers leaders to transform nations. I am a certified executive coach, an award-winning leadership consultant, a global speaker, facilitator, and author. Today, I would like to expose you to 12 great thoughts for great men. We want to talk about great thoughts for great men. Now, I began by telling you that if you stop learning, you stop leading, and you start dying. The day of your death is not what is written on your tombstone or your epitaph when they say, "Here lies a man who lived between this year and this year." Your real day of death will be that moment when you decided that you will not learn anymore, that you already know it all. But today, I am here to invite you, especially you, my brother, my uncle, my dad, my son, to listen to me today as I expose you to 12 very important great thoughts for men who are ready to become great men and do great things in this great world. You know, we can learn from many different sources. We can learn from books, reading books. I am a reader personally. I read quite a lot in order to be exposed to the wisdom of other people. A book is a miracle. That's why I decided to participate in creating those miracles, and I became an author. I have written 26 books so far, as at 5th of April 2025, in the areas of leadership, business, education, wealth creation, remarkable womanhood, courageous fatherhood, to mention but a few. We don't only learn through books, we can also learn through mentorship. We can have people who are senior trusted advisors, who are experienced in different things, to whom we can go and learn a lot through a personal relationship. We can also learn through, movies. There are many people who watch movies, even when they are fictitious. Others are based on true stories. They learn some lessons. There are those who learn through their own experiences. And I will be talking about those just a few minutes to come. But also, we can learn from the words of those who came before us. The words of those who came before us. And sometimes those words are called quotes, quotations. People said something. Of course, I know someone who said that quotations sometimes are basically residues of other people's thoughts from history. But yes, not every residue is useless. Many residues are so useful. And so today, as I prepared to come and share with you, I decided to learn from 12 wonderful people who said 12 great things that you and I need to learn from. Especially you as a man who is watching, because you're the key target for this program. But you can be sure, my sister, my auntie, my mother, my wife, my dear sister, you're also going to benefit from them because they cut across. And without further ado, here are the 12 great thoughts for great men. Number 1, this is about discipline. It was a man called Confucius who said the following: a great man is hard on himself, but a small man is hard on others. Let me repeat it. A great man is hard on himself, but a small man is hard on others. Do you know how we can be so tough on other people? We want them to behave a certain way. We want them to dress a certain way. We want them to do some things a certain way. We become so tough on people. 2 days ago, I was speaking to 60 middle managers of one of the big banks in this city of Kampala. And I was talking about the role of middle management in strategy execution. Spoke to them for 1.5 hours. Now, one of the things I talked about was about how some managers become so hard on the people they lead that instead of being maximizers of human capital resourcefulness on their teams, they actually become diminishers of the abilities and capacities of the people they lead. They bring to you a report, and then you start to underline, cross, write in the margin, add a table here, change this into a graph, add a figure, put a comment in the... It's as if somebody has not done anything on that report. Why? Because you are so hard on others, but you are not that hard on yourself. Great thought number 1 for great men is that great men are hard on themselves, but small men are always just hard on others and so soft on themselves. So, how do we apply this? You may find as a husband, you're really so tough on your wife, but you're not as equally tough on yourself as you are on your wife. It is time to rethink. As a father, you may find you're so hard on your children that now, whenever you come home, everyone is on tension. The children rush to sleep or to go and do other things because they know as soon as they are in your presence, your hardness is going to rub off them in a very tough way. Can you decide to be a great man who is tough, who is hard on himself, instead of becoming a small man who is so hard on others? And I want you to know, important disclaimer, that this does not mean that you fail to hold others accountable when you are in charge of them, when you are taking leadership over them. No. Hold others accountable, but make sure that you exercise self-discipline enough to be harder on yourself than you are on other people. Yeah. So whatever you demand from others, demand that thing twice from yourself, or maybe thrice from yourself. That's a very important, great thought for great men. Great thought number 2 for great men. This comes from John Wooden, an amazing coach in the world of sports. This is what he said: be more concerned with your character than with your reputation. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation. So this is an issue of character. The first one was talking about discipline. The second one is talking about character. Quite related. One time, and what I'm about to tell you, I wrote it in one of my most recent books. Last year, I produced 10 books in different areas. One of them was on leadership, titled Honorable Leadership. The 7 proven strategies for becoming a highly influential leader beyond your generation. In that book, I talked about the story of a man, a great man in my country where I am born, Uganda, in East Africa. Great man who was a politician. He's no longer active in the politics of my country. But a few years ago, he was one of those wonderful super political leaders in the country. One time, he was on TV, and I saw him. It was in a news clip, a news bite, and he was saying, I will not allow those people to destroy my name. I have worked for this name for the last 30 years. I can't allow them to destroy my name just like that. And I wrote this in my book. I asked the question, when he said his name, did he mean his character or his reputation? Without a doubt, this had everything to do with his reputation. I am not sure whether it had anything to do with his character. What is the difference? My brother, your reputation is that image of yourself that you have projected into the public. You have projected to the public. It is that kind of a person that you have crafted and sent out into the public for people to know you as. You can call it that intentional brand that you have decided to build, your personal brand, and put it out there so that people can start to look at you from that angle that you want them to look at you from. It is generally the image you've given us. That's your reputation. But your character is who you truly are, even when no one is looking at you. In fact, I love to say character is who you are even in the dark. So when that gentleman was saying, I have worked for my name for the last 30 years, I won't allow those people to destroy it in a minute. I want to believe that largely he was talking about his reputation, not specifically his character. And I am now convinced about what I have concluded about him, simply because now he's no longer in the limelight, and I know why he's no longer in the limelight. And it had to do with some character problems. So John Wooden says, be more concerned with your character than with your reputation. In other words, instead of taking all the time, putting in all the resources, putting in a lot of effort to project a nice image to the public, whether that is who you are or not, why don't you put equally the same effort, the same energy, the same resources into truly becoming who you pretend to be as a man? So this is a question of character. Are you always focusing on your reputation or on your character? And guess what? The more you focus on your character, the more it becomes your reputation with time. So instead of focusing on what you want the people to know you for, focus on who you really want to become. Then as you live that life, the people who have always observed you will now know you for who you actually are. That is a hallmark of a strong, solid, well-buttressed man who is deep-rooted in authenticity, in genuineness, in reality, in character. How do we apply this? What are some of the things you have been pretending about as a father? What are some of the things you've been pretending about as a husband? What are some of the things you have been pretending about as a professional in the marketplace? You are a head of department. How have you behaved before the people you lead? What have you been pretending about as a neighbor? Could it be time to come clean and just be authentic and live a genuine life and focus on building character instead of fashioning reputation? This is extremely important. Now, great thought for great men, number 3. This comes from somebody called Maxime Legace. Maxime Legace, L-E-G-A-C-E, Maxime Legace. Maxime says, average people know how, but wise people know why. I repeat, average people know how, but wise people know why. When we talk about how, we are talking about methods. When we talk about how, we are talking about approaches. When we talk about how, we are talking about methodologies. When we talk about how, we are talking about the path. When we talk about how, we are talking about the formula. In fact, when we talk about how, most times we are talking about capacity. We are talking about ability. We are talking about the ability to make you know what to do, especially the method to take you there, the steps, right? That is the how. But when we talk about the why, we are talking about the reason. When we talk about the why, we are talking about the rationale. When we talk about why, we are talking about the justification. When we talk about why, in simple terms, we are talking about purpose. Now, Maxime Legace gives us a very great thought for great men when he says, average people know how, but wise people know why. In other words, average men, average human beings only are so conversant with the methods, with methodologies, with approaches, with steps, with the 3 keys, and so on and so forth, with the path to take them somewhere. But the wise men, the wise people, they know, they are so focused on the reason for things. They are focused on purpose. They are focused on the rationale, on the justification for why they do what they do. In other words, this great thought for great men is about purpose. This reminds me of another wonderful thought that I got to hear from somebody who said that whereas men look for methods, God is looking for men. Men are looking for great methods, God is looking for great men. Because He has purpose for them. What are you preoccupied with? Are you preoccupied with how to do things, or you are preoccupied with why you have to do the things that you do? You know, this world can put a lot of things on our tables, a lot of work on our plate, heavy workload, great responsibilities, very many duties, so many roles, many obligations, mandates to fulfill. And we can so easily get lost in the things we are doing and how we are doing them that we forget to step back and ask ourselves, why are we even doing them in the first place? And once we don't ask ourselves that question as men, as human beings, we end up confusing activity with productivity. In other words, we become so busy accomplishing nothing. We are so active and never productive. Why? Because we have focused on what we are doing and how we are doing it, and not why we have to do it in the first place. This is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness in the life of a man. Efficiency is so preoccupied with how we can cut costs, with how we can do something faster, with how we can do it in a more timely manner, with how we can do it using fewer resources. The how of optimization, that's efficiency. But effectiveness is preoccupied with whether we are doing the right thing the right way. It's like management and leadership. Management is basically doing things right, but leadership is doing the right things right. So here, the application for this is that you and I need to first and foremost discover the purpose of our existence. That's now at the bigger picture level. Why do you exist, my brother? Why are you on earth? What are you on earth to do? As for me, I have discovered my purpose. I discovered it a number of years ago, about 17 or so years ago. My purpose is to inspire and empower transformational, exemplary, and authentic kingdom leaders worldwide. In brief, my whole life is about empowering leaders who transform nations. That's my purpose on earth. And even right now, as I speak to you, I am empowering you as a leader so that you can transform your family, your community, your institution, your nation, your continent, this world. How about you? Why do you exist? What is your purpose? Why should God give you one more day on earth? Why should God not take you tonight? Tough questions, right? These are questions of purpose. Why do you do the things that you do? Let's bring it down. Why do you demand what you demand from the people you demand it from? What really is the purpose of the things that you do? I remember a great man who died many years ago. He came to my country, Uganda, in 2014, and I met him at one of the hotels at Hotel Serena, Kampala Serena Hotel in Victoria Hall. I gave him my book. He gave me his. I autographed mine. He autographed his, and we shook hands. The late Dr. Miles Monroe from the Bahamas. He was so passionate about matters of purpose because he was also busy building great men all over the world. Great leaders. Wanted to turn ordinary men into leaders and turn leaders into agents of transformation and change. He one time said, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. That if you don't know your purpose, you will inevitably, unavoidably destroy yourself, abuse yourself. Anything for which you don't know the purpose of will always be abused and misused. That's why you meet some men are truly abusing their life. They are wasting their time. They are abusing their money. They are just ruining and destroying their life. And in the process, they are destroying their marriages. They are destroying their children. They are destroying their opportunities and breaking their platforms. Why? Because they are living a purposeless life. For them, life is about wake up in the morning, go to work, eat, come back tired, go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, go to work, get tired, eat, sleep. Wake up in the morning, go back to work, get hungry, eat, get tired, go home, sleep, and then repeat the same cycle the following day for a whole year, for the whole of their life. A purposeless life is not a life worth living. In fact, before you decide on your profession, you should discover your purpose. Purpose should be discovered before profession. Purpose should be discovered before spouse. Before you get somebody's daughter, you should know where you are going. So that when you propose and you say, sweetheart, will you marry me? You are inviting her to be a helper on a journey towards a destination you already know. But as it were, many of us are living a purposeless life. This gentleman, Maxime Legas, has said average people know how, but wise people know why. Discover the why of your what, then the how will be automatic. Great thought number 4 for great men. This comes from Thomas Fuller, an interesting theologian of the past. Thomas Fuller. Thomas said, a man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. A man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. There is a musician in my country who sang a song that had something to do with talking. Rest in peace. He died some time ago and died in a way that did not give God the glory. Died in a way that did not leave him with a good legacy. But he sang a song which was saying, talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Oh. Those of you who come from my country now know the kind of person I could be talking about. One musician, rest in peace. He was speaking about those who talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But they never walk and walk and walk the talk. So they keep on talking the talk and never walking the talk. They are so good at creeds, so bad at deeds, so wonderful at declarations, so poor at actions. How many times as a man have you given your word and you never fulfilled it? How many things have you kept on talking about, and talking about that you will do and you've never done them? Thomas Fuller says, a man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. Come to think about that kind of a garden full of weeds. It is a garden where the right plants will be destroyed. It is a garden where you won't find fruits. It's a garden that will be useless to the owner. A garden full of weeds. Equally so, when all we do is being full of words but not full of action, we also get our life filled with weeds. And so we don't become fruitful and productive and especially useful to the people around us. As a fellow father, do you remember the things you have promised your children that you have not yet delivered on? And they don't have to be as big as a car, as great as taking them for a vacation. They can be as small as a promise of ice cream. When you say, stay here, when I'm coming back, I will bring ice cream for you, especially if you are having younger children, for example. When you're coming back, do you remember the promise you made? And then the following day, you again promise, yeah, I will bring this and this for you. You never deliver on it. And so as your own children grow up, you become a bad example for them. They will be busy over-promising on earth and perpetually under-delivering. Before you know it, you are sowing a seed of lack of integrity, a seed of untrustworthiness, and a seed of unreliability. It goes back to even what you have spoken to your wife. What have you promised her? Have you delivered on it? Are you a man of actions or only a man of declarations? Are you a person of deeds or a person of creeds? Are you somebody who only talks about the walk or you walk the talk? Fuller says, a man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. I invite you, my brother, to rethink the promises you give. When you go for that wedding meeting, When you go for that graduation party, when you go to give a speech on that funeral, like the people who came and gave a speech on my father's funeral very many years ago, close to 30 years ago when I lost my father. Many of them came up and said, don't mind, this man has been a great man. His children cannot suffer. We will pay fees for them. We will look after them. Did anybody come to actually fulfill that promise? Not at all. Rethink your promises. A man of words and not deeds is like a garden full of weeds. Be known as a man of action. Man of action. Yeah. Great thought number 5 for great men. Great thought number 5 for great men. From Aesop, A-E-S-O-P, Aesop. Aesop says, a man is known by the company he keeps. A man is known by the company that he keeps. A man is known by the company he keeps. Now, when we talk about company, in this context, we are not talking about an organization, a company, a business company. We are talking about your association. Again, not in the form of a club, but in the form of the people you associate with. Your friends, precisely. The people you spend most of your time with in life. Aesop says a man is known by the company he keeps. If you want to know a man, look at the people around him. Don't look at what he says. Don't look at his declarations. Look at who is around him. Who does he rub shoulders with? Who does he spend most of his time with? In the language of the people of central Uganda, called the Baganda, they say, Mbulira gwoyita naye, nkubulire empisa zo. Directed, translated, they say, tell me who you walk with, and I will tell you what your character is. Even somebody sang a song with those words. Mbulira gwoyita naye, nkubulire empisa zo. Same song, same message, same words. The people from the southwestern part of Uganda in East Africa, the Banyankore, Bachiga, also have a related statement, a powerful one. They say, Koyenda enzuro ahamaguru, oyemerera rwagati y'enyungu zigoya. It is a powerful statement. Directly translated, it means that if you want black soot around your legs, you stand in the middle of cooking pots. What a strong statement. If you want black soot on your legs, you just stand in the middle of cooking pots. Why? Because they always have that black soot that gets onto them when you're cooking. And so if you stand in their midst, they will rub on you. And you will also have black soot. A man is known by who surrounds him. A man is known by who he spends most of his time with. A man is known by the friendships he keeps, by the company he keeps, by who he associates with. In fact, in one of my books many years ago, more than 10 years ago, titled, it was about professionalism as a key to society transformation, I wrote a statement that said, if you walk with 9 fools, you will become the 10th. Tell it to the person seated next to you right now. Just turn to them and say, if you walk with the 9 fools, you will become the 10th. Please tell them. That is the power of association, the power of friendship, the power of the company you keep. So what's the application to us who are watching, especially my brothers who are watching, the men? Do you know that your destiny is going to be defined by the people you spend most of your time with? Some of you spend a lot of time at the bar. Those people are going to define your destiny. Some of you spend a lot of time maybe in the corporate league, sports, watching. The people you are with are going to determine who you really are. Some of you spend most of your time in professional bodies. You are a certified coach, like I am a certified executive coach. So I rub shoulders with my fellow coaches in the International Coaching Federation, ICF, as a member. I am a facilitator, a lively professional facilitator of conversations, retreats, etc. And as a result, I keep the company of my fellow facilitators in the IAF, the International Association of Facilitators. In fact, as per this program today, I am the national chairperson of the IAF in Uganda. It is a global association that looks at promoting the power of facilitation worldwide. Those are the people I also rub shoulders with, spend most time with them. I am a member of the Fathers Union in Uganda. Precisely, I am the Diocesan Fathers Union of I'm the Diocesan Fathers Union president of Kampala, but also the national president or the provincial president of Fathers Union in Uganda. So I spend most of my time with my fellow members, men in Fathers Union. And let me tell you, I have learned a lot from them. They have learned some things from me. We learn from each other. That is a powerful statement from one of the local languages, which means precisely that a man gets wisdom from the mouth of a fellow man. The association you keep will determine how wise you will become. And now that they say a man gets wisdom from the mouth of a fellow man, we could as well say, rightly, that a man can tap into the foolishness of another man by listening to that other man. Aesop has said a man is known by the company he keeps. Please be in the right company. It's time for you to evaluate. Those people you call big boys, you are going to chill with the big boys. Those people you call your friends, those people you say, hey, let's go out and spend some time together, spend some money. What kind of people are they? Evaluate your friendships today. Highlight some people, delete them out of your life, throw in the recycle bin. Yes. Highlight some people, bring them into your life. People who will build you. The issue of company. Great thought number 6 for great men, from John Barrymore. He says, a man is not old until regrets take the place of dreams. A man is not old until regrets take the place of dreams. John Barrymore. This applies largely to my brothers who are quite advanced in age. You are 50 years of age. You are 55. You're 60. You're 62 years of age. You're 70. You're 79. You are 80. And now your whole life is filled with regrets. Regrets of the things you didn't do, that you were supposed to do. Regrets of things you did that you were not supposed to do. Regrets of the people you spent most of your time with that you were not supposed to spend most of your time with. Regrets of the people you did not spend enough time with that you were supposed to spend more time with. And maybe they have moved on, they have transitioned out of life. It's now too late. You have regrets of the projects you had all along wanted to begin that you never started. You have regrets of the people you abused when you should have respected them. You have regrets of the marriage you lost because of how you behaved. You regret after regret after regret. John Barrymore says, you are not old until you have more regrets than dreams. Does that explain where you are in life? And by the way, let me tell you, you don't need to first be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 to be in this position. You can have your life filled with regrets instead of dreams at 27 years of age, at 23 years of age. Regrets at 36 years of age, regrets at 41 years of age, regrets at 46 years of age, regrets at 52. It is a choice on how you want to live your life. Clearly, there are many things we go through. There are many mistakes we make. But it's very important to not continue to allow to fill our life with regrets after regrets after regrets, but to keep dreaming afresh, cascading forward to the future, planning new goals, setting new objectives, aiming at new things that you can still achieve in your life. I wrote a book called Move On, how to move away from your past and unlock a glorious future. You will never be able to become who you want to be by remaining who you are. You cannot be able to go to a future you want by getting stuck in the past you were in. Instead of regrets, fill your life with new dreams. Great thought number 7 for great men comes from one of my favorite leadership empowerers who has equipped my life for many years, John Calvin Maxwell. He says, a man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. Let me repeat it. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. This is very related with great thought number 6 that we just talked about. Not filling life with regrets, but filling life with new dreams. Now, the journey or the bridge between regrets and dreams is what Maxwell is talking about. We have regrets because of mistakes we've made. Now, Maxwell says, be big enough to acknowledge that you made mistakes. Be smart enough to learn from them, to profit from them. But also, go ahead and be strong enough to put things right, to correct them. Application. What are some of the mistakes you've made in the last 1 year? Did you learn anything from them? Or that was a wasted classroom, a wasted lesson, a great opportunity for you to be stronger and better? Did you utilize it? Did you learn from it? Are you now getting better? Do you think differently? Are you acting in a different way? Or you made a mistake and you are busy repeating it. When you do something wrong the first time, my brother, it is a mistake. When you do it for the second time, it is negligence. When you do it for the third time, it is intention. You should blame nobody. This is about what we need to do with mistakes. Now, number 8, Malcolm X, he says, a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. Without even taking many more minutes on this, this is about values. What do you stand for as a man? What are your values? At the organization, at Inspired Leaders International, where I'm the CEO, we have our values of professionalism, relationships, integrity, excellency, and respect. In my home, the Bakutana family, our values form the acronym of the word SLIDE. Our values are service, love, integrity, discipline, and excellency. How about you? How about your life? How about your family? If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Great thought number 9 from Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa. He said, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Let me repeat it. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. No need to take much more time. Application. We will always fall. We will always fail. But it is very important that you as a man, you don't stay down. Don't keep flat down. Even if you are still down and struggling, you have fallen, you have failed. Don't confess that you have even fallen or failed. You just say, I am now standing horizontally. Soon I will stand vertically. I am a man on a mission. I am moving forward. The greatest glory in our life does not lie in ensuring that you are a perfectionist who never fails, who is flawless in everything he does. That's impossible. But it is in the fact that whenever you fall, you have the audacity, you have the courage and the boldness, the bravery, the resilience to rise up again and get on the right path. Just to do that. And number 10, as we almost come to the close of this, comes from that Indian friend. I was in India 3.5 months ago in Bengaluru, in the state of Karnataka, speaking to 200 Indian facilitators at the Chancery Pavilion Hotel. Mahatma Gandhi of India said the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. No wonder even our Lord Jesus Christ said, blessed is the hand that giveth, than the one that receiveth. To give is of greater glory than to receive. In fact, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. We can give time, we can give advice, we can give money, we can give food, we can give advice, counsel, we can give service. And indeed, the best way to find ourselves is to lose ourselves in the service of others. Tough, but possible. Second last comes from one of the new kids on the block in the leadership world, Simon Sinek, the author of the book Start With Why. He said the following: leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking care of those in your charge. I repeat, leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. Application: if you are a man in an office, leadership is not really all about being in charge. I am in charge here. I am the one in charge here. I am the manager here. No. It is about taking care of those in your charge. If you're a man in a family, you are the family leader, like this program is called the Inspired Family Leader Program. Greatest leadership is not about telling people how you are the one who is the leader of the family. I am the man here. No. Leadership is making sure you take care of your wife and you take care of your children. That is leadership. And lastly, finally, great thought number 12 for great men comes from Will Rogers, one of the best America's humorists. He said that there are 3 kinds of men: the one that learns by reading, the few who learn by observation, and the rest of them have to pee on the electric fence for themselves. Will Rogers. There are 3 kinds of men: the one that learns by reading, the few who learn by observation, and the rest of them have to pee on the electric fence for themselves. In other words, the third one is of those who wait to learn from their own experiences. Great and wise men learn from the experiences of the other people. Those who are not so wise will always wait to learn from their own experiences. We shouldn't do that. Let's go to books and learn by reading. Let's be students of life so that we can learn by observation. Let us not wait to be culprits of the same mistakes in life and then wait to learn from our own mistakes, our own experiences. That can be very expensive, and we don't have all the time on earth to first do all the things and learn from our own experience when many other people have gone before us and they have taught us. Gentlemen, and some ladies who are watching, these have been the 12 great thoughts for great men. Number 1, it's about discipline. A great man is hard on himself. A small man is hard on others. Number 2, on character, be more concerned with your character than with your reputation. Number 3, on purpose, average men know how, but wise men know why. Number 4, on action, a man of words and not of deeds is like a garden full of weeds. Take action. Number 5 is about company. A man is known by the company he keeps. Have the right people in your life. Number 6 is about dreams. A man is not old until regrets take the place of dreams. Keep dreaming more. Number 7 is about mistakes. A man must be big enough to acknowledge his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. Number 8 is about values. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. Number 9 was about resilience, that the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Number 10 is about service, that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And second last is about leadership, that leadership is not about being in charge, but taking care of those you are in charge of. And lastly is about learning, that there are 3 kinds of men: the ones who learn by reading, the few who learn by observation, and the rest of them who pee on the electric fence for themselves and they learn from their own experiences. Remember, we were talking about great thoughts for great men. Let us go and keep learning as we meditate and reflect on these thoughts. Remember where we began from, that never stop learning because life never stops teaching. The moment you stop learning, you stop leading and you start dying. Let that not be your inheritance. You and I can keep learning. And like Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who can't learn and relearn. May you be a great man whose children and great-grandchildren will look back and say amazing things about their father, about their grandfather. Until next time, live exemplarily, love authentically, and lead relationally.